Now joining us as well, Golf Canada Chief Marketing Officer Tim McLaughlin, who joins us here on set. Tim, how are you, my man?
Sun is shining. We got a beautiful day here at TPC Toronto, so there are worse places to be in the world.
It is great. Yeah, man, it's amazing to be back here. And before we get into the marketing aspect here and what we're doing here at the RBC Canadian Open and the success we've had, I want to give a shout out here to Mike, who reached out to me on a direct message. As you guys know, my phone is on the fritz right now, so I'm feeling a little strange right now. But anyway, Mike has asked for our scores from yesterday, Mark.
Well, we were both, I was 4 over. I only played 16 holes.
I was 6 over.
But you played 17 holes.
Yes, but we had a par 5 to go, so which was the first hole. So,
I mean, no, if I played one more hole, there's no way I'm doing PGA Tour radio this week. There's no, I would have been in track. I would have gone to the hospital.
Okay, fair. Have you been out there, Tim?
I've been all over the place, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Walked the entire course. It's looking great.
There you go. It is looking great, and we're just so excited for this weekend. Really, one of the initial kickoffs for the RBC Canadian Open was the event with the NHLPA last week. I believe that was last Thursday. How did that event go? And give us some background on that event.
Well, like we needed to add something else and more complexity to this event. It's already a pretty big beast to begin with, but we had the idea we were sort of inspired by the Creator Classics you've been seeing at some of the PGA Tour events, down to the Tour Championship and the Players, and so we thought the idea of doing something with a Canadian spin on that concept might be fun. And a lot of the creators and influencers, most of their reach is in the U.S., so how do we take a Canadian spin on that idea and bring it here to Canada? So we approached the NHLPA with the concept of maybe bringing some NHL players out to the RBC Canadian Open course the week in advance, and so that's kind of where the idea for the RBC Canadian Open NHLPA face-off came from, and turned out to be a fantastic day. We had a full field of 20 NHL players, a couple of alumni. TSN's own Jeff O'Neill shot a 64, as you guys know, which was amazing. And it started with Jamie Drysdale getting an ace on his first shot of the day. Willie Nylander won it with a birdie on the rink hole playoff. So it was a great day, and just a great way to sort of, golf is such a big part of hockey. It's kind of neat to sort of bring those two worlds together and do something fun and creative for content. So it was a great day.
Oh, that's awesome.
Lots of momentum. The last 8 weeks we were talking, Ryan was suggesting the same thing, that Rory completing that career Grand Slam and his connection to this golf tournament and to the people of Canada. There's been a wave, so it's going to be massive out here. But you mentioned that, from a marketing standpoint, you guys got to market a little earlier this year than normal. Why that strategic decision? It was just there's so much momentum. Why not? Let's just start talking about it sooner.
Yeah, I mean, we have to be pretty choiceful in terms of how we try and promote the tournament. Obviously, our role from a marketing perspective is trying to drive awareness and excitement around the brand of the event itself, get people out here to experience it and be part of Canadian golf through this amazing event, the RBC Canadian Open. And so we made a really, I think, smart decision in retrospect to sort of start advertising quite a bit earlier this year and spread the campaign out over a longer period. Just so happened that timed up with Rory's amazing win in Augusta. And so we've been on just an amazing trajectory from a sales perspective over the last 8 weeks, and going to see some great results.
You know what, too? I meant to mention this to you yesterday, and we're just busy getting pulled a million different directions. But watching the Memorial telecast on CBS. You want to talk about a marketing home run. Watching the Memorial on CBS. And Jim Nantz and Frank Nobilo are talking about the Canadian Open logo because Nick Taylor, part of the conversation of the Memorial, contended on the weekend, contended on Sunday. They get into the conversation of how a couple of years ago the logo was changed in the celebration of the moment at Oakdale, and now how it's stuck. And if you're watching us on TSN2 right now, you can see that Canadian Open logo right below Tim and right now above my shoulder, where the I in Canadian is that the putter flip from Nick Taylor. I mean, that was such a great idea. And the traction, here we are a couple years later, and CBS just randomly in the middle of a broadcast talking about it. That's a win, no?
Well, yeah, I mean, certainly we're thrilled with how the response has been to that change, and we've been lucky enough to win Best Marketing at the PGA Tour Awards the last couple of years through some of the things we've done. And when we sort of approached that moment when Nick won in 2023, I sort of said to the team, like, if we can't market this, then we're in the wrong business. And so I think I told the story a bunch of times, but it actually started from a pumpkin carving contest in Ancaster. One of our designers, Brendan Peters, came up with the concept, and obviously our partners at RBC, who are a great title, instantly got the idea. And so to sort of build that iconic moment into the core brand identity of what this event is all about has been amazing. And you know, this event has been on an amazing trajectory over the last 5 years, and this is just another thing that's helping propel it forward to become one of the signature events in the PGA Tour. And I think outside of some of those other larger events, this is one of the best events on tour, and that's why you see such a great field here, and the fans will come out and support it as well. So
we're with Golf Canada Chief Marketing Officer Tim McLaughlin, and obviously the logo, Nick Taylor's nickname logo, is maybe the best nickname ever. But the rink hole is another great way to market this tournament. How have you seen the way the rink hole has, from a marketing perspective, expanded and evolved now that it's bigger than ever than we've seen before?
Yeah, I mean, it's really core to what we've been able to build, and the rink hole is now a signature piece of this event. And we feel so lucky to have sort of a location on course where everybody comes out and watches, and the atmosphere that's created there is really nothing like anything else on the PGA Tour. And I think what's really special about it, and I think what's really continued to evolve and something we're super excited about, is this idea that this feels like maybe the only home game in golf. When you go to other PGA Tour events and people are following around, you know, in the U.S., they're following around American players, no one's really cheering for, people are cheering for different folks. Obviously, people are cheering for Rory and Scotty and whoever else. But what the rink hole has done is it's really sort of been a catalyst for the Canadian support. You see people here singing "Oh Canada," and so we really feel that the Canadian connection through the rink hole has become inextricably linked to the event, and so it's sort of propelled this amazing Canadian flair to the event. We've really sort of tried to lean into that this year with a lot of the stuff that's going on, you know, south of the border. Yeah. And so, you know, our tagline this year is "This is our Open." We're really leaning into being Canadian, focusing on that, and the rink hole is probably the biggest piece of that.
You know, I also find like that angle and that kind of, you know, dig our heels in, for lack of a better term, on the Canadiana aspect of this is a national championship, this is a home game. How it seems to attract the international player, because I think, yes, Rory, obviously people go, oh, well, Rory loves it here. He's won multiple times. That's why we're seeing, you know, Bob McIntyre, we're defending champion, Justin Rose, Shane Lowry. There's a real international flair to the leaderboard. So I do think Rory certainly has a large part of that, but I don't think that's the only piece here. I think there is an enjoyment factor for the international player to, you know, step outside of America for a one-off, for a long season of them being the European player or the international player on U.S. soil. And this is certainly not a home game for them, but it is something different than, and being different than, and having some of that, I think, has really attracted an international field here.
There's no doubt. I mean, if you look at the roster of European players that are going to play this week, it's really probably second to none on the tour, and so outside of maybe the signature events, and so there's no doubt you feel that support from the galleries for those European players, and I think that's why they keep coming back. So obviously, we're excited to have them here.
Now, before we wrap, Tim, I want to ask you about the Golf Canada Caddy program. Currently going on. For those who aren't aware, tell us a little about that.
So this is something we've done this year, and in talking with some of the players and their agents, we identified an opportunity to help support the support systems of our PGA and LPGA Tour players. And so now we've got more or less partnerships with all of the caddies on tour. You'll see most of them wearing the Golf Canada logo on their collar of their polos. And the idea here was firstly to just, again, provide support to the support systems that are helping our PGA Tour and LPGA Tour pros. But also it's a great opportunity for us to connect with these caddies a little bit more closely. And through that, it's going to allow us to sort of shine a different spotlight on tour golf. We're going to get some great content with these caddies, sort of talk more about what it's like being a caddy on tour, get some insight in terms of how they work with the players to sort of optimize their performance. And so it's just been a nice thing we've been able to integrate in this year, and it'll be a great opportunity for us to have relationships that'll help hopefully further Canadian golf, but also provide greater support to our tour pros on both the men's and women's side.
Just such a great idea, man. That's totally awesome. Well, hey, I know you're a very busy man this week. Thanks so much for taking some time to join us here on GTC, and we'll see you later in the week.
Thank you so much for today, and also everything you guys do for Canadian golf. You really are the best.
Absolutely. Really enjoyed it, man. Thank you. That is Tim McLaughlin from Golf Canada.